Hello everyone, this is Romario with a new legacy video, and for this video I have a good one. I have a brand new deck that I don't think you ever heard of. But before I get to that, if you like legacy, if you like pre-modern, I would like for you to please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your comments below. I always love reading the comments on the decks that the videos that I post. But yeah, just kidding. Of course, this is good old High Tide. If you listen to the Legacy Small Talk podcast that I host with Mike and Jared, you would probably heard us talking, by us, I mean Jared and I, about High Tide. Jared loved playing quote unquote outdated legacy decks, and he's been like on this kick of playing High Tide. And I also, just from talking to him, kind of rekindled, I guess, my curiosity for playing High Tide. And so I went through some of the lists that I had in my account. Some of them were even for High Tide, they were not very, very good for 2026 legacy. So I was, hit him up, asked for a list that he's been liking. And he sent me this one. I think the only difference was that he had a copy of a Force of Negation in the main deck that I cut for the third Snap. I really like this interaction of Snap in the Cloud of Faeries. Also, Snap just it's not bad against decks like Eldrazi, just like snapping a Thought-Knot Seer at the end of the turn, or on your own turn, if you have High Tide. You can snap even, Murktide if you're about to lose to combat damage. If your opponent taps out, and you can snap back a Orcish Bowmasters. So I think Snap is just a very versatile card, and of course it has the synergy with High Tide. So I like to have copies of this card, especially if you have Cloud of Faeries in the main deck, right? So yeah, other than that, is the deck's pretty stock High Tide. The only thing you might see here that's absent is the Brain Freeze. So this list is trying to win either with a big blue sun Zenith that you make your opponent draw their deck and deck them, or you use Fatal Wishes to find Jace. I was about to say Jace the Mind Sculptor, Jace Wielder of Mysteries, and you do a good impression of Doomsday, right? The way you get to that point is obviously using Mind's Desire, basically, I guess exiling your whole deck, and then when you have, without having a deck, then you can cast Fatal Wishes, grab Jace, and then win by Jace's static ability. And then, of course, if you can make a lot of mana with Turnabouts and Cloud of Faeries and Snaps, you can also just, again, like I mentioned, use a big Blue Sun Zenith that make your opponent draw their entire deck. Other than that, I think the deck is pretty stock. You just have all the cantrips, the High Tides, and Time Spirals. There are 3 copies of Mind's Desire, which I really like. It is it's one way for you can sidestep Orcish Bowmasters. You can still combo without having to draw cards, and then after Mind's Desire, maybe you can find a way to deal with a Orcish Bowmaster, right? We do have a couple of cards in the sideboard that can deal with problematic permanents. So, and Fatal Wish is one of those. It's almost like a Cunning Wish that you can use multiple times if the game goes long, or if you have a very storm count with Mind's Desire. So the possibilities are endless. That sounds very cheesy the way I just said it, but yeah. With that being said, we're gonna get started in the league. Like I said, I don't think High Tide hasn't really changed too much over the years. So most of the cards, again, it's still the same High Tides cards you expect to see. Again, the namesake of the deck and Time Spiral, and the sideboard is very focused on trying to not lose to Chalice of the Void or pesky permanents, and then we have the extra Flusterstorms for the other blue decks in the format. Again, if you like Legacy, if you like Pre-Modern, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your comments below, and let's go find our first round opponent. All right, we're here for round 1, and looks like I'm on the draw. All right, I think, so what does Zen need? Zen needs Eldrazi. It needs a Force of Will. Exactly what I need here. And a High Tide. Well, find a Force of Will. So I'm just going to play an island and pass. So I can't really take advantage of a High Tide until turn 3, I think, with this. Oh, actually, hold on a second. If I go High Tide, that's makes 2 mana, Cloud of Faeries. I go up to 4 mana, tap those 2. So there is a reason to Brainstorm, because if I find a High Tide, I can go off next turn. Okay, did not find a High Tide. I think Turnabout and Lórien revealed my... No, I just want to draw Lórien revealed so I can shuffle my... And then Flusterstorm would probably be the card that I'm going to discard to Force Will if I need to. All right. And this Turnabout only works if I have more than 4 mana. I don't want to try to cast a big K command. That's what it seems like. Not a Force of Will. Okay, I think in this case, then I am just going to pass again. Oh, it's a Cavern of Souls. All right. So that makes things a little more tricky. Is it Thought Knots here? Oh, Broadside. Yeah, that's okay. Now the question is, do I want to Brainstorm at the end of the turn? I could cycle one of Cloud of Faeries first. If I draw a land, So if I cycle Cloud of Faeries, no, I still need to find exactly High Tide, right? I found High Tide. So then I don't think Merchant Scroll is super important. Right, so I'm just going to cast this for storm reasons. I guess I could have kept the Merchant Scroll. I might have jumped the gun on that one. I was thinking more like having Flusterstorm for K command, but I just realized that I wouldn't be able to actually do much there. All right, we found everything we need here. So I'm just gonna cast another High Tide. We'll cast this thing. And bottom that. Actually, can't go back in this one either. So each of those things is making 3 mana. Yeah, sure. We're just storming here. It's in the order. Oof, another Time Spiral. All right, so I'm gonna draw 3 cards and another High Tide. So that's 8 mana. I'm just gonna Mind's Desire, I guess. And I'll make the screen a little bit bigger in a second. So can I cast? Yeah, I can. So I'm going to cast this for free. The Blues and Zenith is the one that's awkward, right? Because I can't just cast for 0, right? I'm going to waste Time Spiral. It's okay. Let's see. I think the play here is to just ponder. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, I think. Just cast this one. So I can cast either one for free. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to try to do this quicker. I guess a Brainstorm. I need those 2. Well, actually, probably want to keep those cards in the deck instead of my hand because I am going to cast Mind's Desire, right? So, so land, untap. It's just 0, right? And apologize about that. All right, I'm just gonna. I think Mind's Desire now is for my entire deck, right? No, 20. Land, untap. All right, now I can cast a Mind's Desire for the low price of free. Can I just yield to all? All right, the one I want to cast is the Granted, right? Yes, I can get Jace. I'm going to cast Jace. Then I'll target myself. Did I still have a card in the deck? Okay, I guess I missed that. I thought I didn't have any more cards. All right, so that's that was game 1. And I don't think I need Flusterstorm. I cut some of this Preordains, and I believe I need Hurkyl's Recall and maybe Spectral Restitching. I should have it. Actually, I'm sorry. Do like this. So Hurkyl's Recall, and I kind of want Force of Negation too because of, again, Chalice of the Void can be a problem. I think Blues and Zenith can be put on the sideboard. Yeah. All right. I think I'm just gonna roll with this. All right. I think this one is fine. Again, the main thing is just I want to lose to a turn 1 or turn 2 Chalice of the Void, right? I think everything else is kind of whatever. Line Breaker. Okay. All right. So Merchant Scroll. I'm gonna wait to see what they're gonna do, right? And this can take care of a Chalice of the Void, so I don't have to be too concerned about that one now. This card can definitely get out of hand real fast. I'm gonna get a Turnabout because then if I draw a land, I can try to go off next turn. My second, those are not great, but it is what it is. I just need to draw a land so I can, it's High Tide into Turnabout into Time Spiral. Did not draw a land. All right, yeah, there's nothing I can do here. And I put the Blues and Zenith in the sideboard so I can't pitch Fae of Wishes because then I don't have a way to win the game. Is that a Thought Knots here? Okay, so that one I have to counter. I'll let them have their tokens. It's a lot of tokens. All right, and then I have to force that. All right. And all right, deck, just hand me a land right now, and I'll be pretty happy. I found a land. All right, so High Tide, target myself, land. untap, and we're gonna time spiral. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I think I'm gonna cast a Cloud of Faeries first. I feel like they have flute. Oh, Warping Whale. If I snap one of them, does it matter? I don't think it does too much, but untap these two. Okay, so that got countered. Put those two back. I'll target myself. Land. Untap. I mean, I guess in this case, just Brainstorm for Storm, right? Can't cast this one, so might as well stay in the deck. All right, let's try to put this in the stack. Please don't have Mind Break Trap. Yeah, it's a decent Mind's Desire. Sorry if it looks a little confusing on the screen because Magic Online does that way, but all right, so I'm gonna cast this for free. I'm gonna cast a second High Tide for free. Turnabout, land, untap. As you can cast a Cloud of Faeries. Can't cycle when it's in exile, so I untap these two. What else I want to do? I guess I'll draw 3 cards. Cool. And I guess I can ponder. Is it Ponder's ability? No. I can get another High Tide, I guess. And I guess at this point, I'm going to save the Hurkyl's Recall in case they have Flute. I don't think they do, but I'm just going to cast another Mind's Desire. Oh, no, is this? Oh, I might have made a huge mistake. No, that's fine. I can always time spiral again. Never mind. It's not going to matter. I forgot that I removed one of the Mind's Desire from the game, but it's... I got 12 minutes and I basically... at this point, I'm playing with my entire deck, right? So it's like... Because I can always cast Time Spiral and then draw the second another Mind's Desire. And then we can get the Fae and all the Force of Wills are there. All right, so High Tide. I also only have 9 cards in the deck. Can I draw them out? I don't think so. No. I'm just going to cast the Fairy and tap these two. Yeah, I don't think I can draw the rest of my deck, right? Because I only have 1, 2, 3, 4. Because they only replace themselves, right? They don't... Brainstorm and Ponders, they don't... I mean, there's obviously some cantrips. Oh, I'm sorry. There are some number of Lórien reveals in my deck, so maybe I can just draw my deck. I can also snap the Cloud of Faeries if I need to cycle one of them too, so yeah. All right, so we can do something like this. No, I'll draw 3. Oh, gotta pay mana for it. So absurd, I have to pay mana, mana for my cards. Then I'll cast another one. I only have 2 cards left in the deck. All right, guess it's like I keep forgetting because I actually never play with discarding paper. So Grant it is the one that I want, right? I almost feel like with this, the way this thing is, I could probably some Zenith them, but all right, then I can just target myself. Cool. All right, so 1-0 with High Tide. I think this version with Mind's Desire makes the games go a little faster. My experience with the other versions of High Tide, sometimes you get to this point that the game is locked up. Basically, there's no way you can lose. But just nature of Magic Online, it makes that it takes a long time for you to be able to combo. With Mind's Desire, it just makes things a lot faster and easier. Also, Mind's Desire gets around Bowmasters, which I'm kind of happy about it too. Time Spiral, you basically, you're running into it, or some of the other lists that I ran that depend on Cloud of Faeries or Spellseeker, just the ability of pinging the creature that I just mentioned, and it makes it a little harder. But Mind's Desire kind of sidesteps all the stuff. All right, well, let's see how round 2 goes. All right, we're here for round 2. I'm going to be on the play, and this hand is not keepable. Yeah, I think this one's fine. I kind of want to have all the islands, and all right, I think I'm going to keep Snap. I feel like usually opponents have a target for a Snap. And I also have 4, is it 4 Cloud of Faeries that I have in that list? I should know this off the top of my head, but yeah. So if I really want to, I can just find another one, or hopefully draw a second one. All right, today Thought sees me. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Merchant Scroll now. All right. Get Dazed. So that's kind of like the beauty of having Mind's Desire with this list, that things are not as bad when things get dazed and stuff, because it's not that hard for you to just storm up and draw like a Mind's Desire. All right, so there's an Archon and Atraxa. I guess I'll play the Flooded Strand that they know about. And if I really want to, I have Mystic Sanctuary that I can put a card on top of my deck. Well, that's my desire. Okay, so all right, so let's see what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna thought seize me. All right, brainstorm. So that change things a little bit. I think I still need to hope to draw either high tide or I'm gonna try to bounce this guy. I'm gonna try to brainstorm now. Oh no, hang on a second. Maybe I should have just kept the second high tide. Wow, yeah. Okay, that was maybe a little hasty of me. Yeah, because now they can reanimate and I'm like basically shields down, right? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't know the next card on top of my deck, right? Or is it a snap? I think it's snap, right? Oh, if it's snap, then I just draw. Because this is a Force of Will here, right? Also, like casting High Tide when your opponent has 4 islands on the other side of the board is like super risky. Okay, so that's 6 damage. So what do I need to draw? I need to draw like a Flusterstorm, I guess. No, does Flusterstorm even do anything? Maybe a land? Yeah, I'll try to High Tide then. If this gets forced and anything, I'm just shit out of luck. Yeah. All right. So what do I need here? I think I want the extra Flusterstorms and I think I want the Spectral Restitching. I'm not a big fan of Force of Will against this decks because all the counter magic and stuff. And the Thoughtseize. Preordain can get cut too. I think I'll bring 2 Faerie Macabres then. No, dress downs. Okay, and I think that should be all I want. All right, so let's play an island, and I think I'm just gonna try to get a high tide with this. If it doesn't get thought seized, I guess. Maybe just wait a turn to cast this thing. Yeah, because I think us playing around days makes sense. Because I'm not gonna. I mean, I guess I could try to combo next turn, but all right, so let's get high tide. I'm assuming this is gonna be a Ball Masters end of turn. No, just reanimate maybe something. No, they kept whatever on. Oh, that's right. They fetch, so they didn't know the top. Never mind. I thought they set up the ponder to do the Inner City Sewers thing, but you probably have to use a Brainstorm to do that. Do I just cycle this thing? Yeah, I think it's gonna pass. I need to draw at least one. I guess one piece of permission. I guess. All right, let's Flooded Strand. I guess. Guess I'm going to. No, that's fine. I can just let this resolve. That's kind of convenient, I guess. And I guess I can cycle one of them. I found a Flusterstorm. All right. That's not really helpful. Yeah, it's close, but it doesn't do it, right? Because just 2... Yeah, I think if the Blue Sun's in it was another land, maybe, because then High Tide cast 2. Can I do anything about that? No, I think this is. I mean, I could try to cycle this in response, but I think I have to Flusterstorm this, right? I didn't even see what they grabbed. I know there's at least one piece of counter magic there. I think I have a plan. Oh, that's the second High Tide that gets cast. All right, so that's one of the ones gonna get countered. So they can use my Flusterstorm against me, I guess. Okay, because one of the Flusterstorm is under Voidwalker. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this 7. Well, let me see. If I draw another High Tide, can I? No, I need to draw High Tide plus another land to be able to beat. No, I can even beat their Flusterstorm because they have. If I cast High Tide, then they have 10 mana available. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, so there's a chance now. I think if they don't have any counter magic in hand, which I don't know if that's even possible. So I think I have to draw something that bounces. I can block this and I still take 6. Yeah. All right. That's a very tough matchup to I think any combo deck to beat like a blue-black deck. So well played, opponent. So let's see if we can still live the 3-2 dream. All right, so we're back here for round 3, and I will be on the play in this one. Did I just close the game log? Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. Lórien. All right, so I mean, it could be anything from Death and Taxes to a Beanstalk deck, right? Or up the Beanstalk. All right, looks like it is Death and Taxes. So I'm just trying to make land drops here, right? So let me see. We'll do this. Oh, there was a Merchant Scroll on top. Okay, actually, yeah. So I need to keep these 2 cards, right? And this one too. I don't think I need the second Lórien revealed. And I can just draw the Merchant Scroll, right? Yes. Okay, so let's cycle this. Got an island. Play the island. All right. And I think Turnabout's fine. And we can try to go off next turn. And I guess Ponder will be my, Philia. Ponder will be my Force of Will fodder. Not really sure what they're doing. So I'm just gonna do this right now. As in, I mean, I know what they're doing, but I think I have the stuff that I need in my hand. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for another land. So target myself, land, untap with these 2, untap, and actually, hold on a second. I don't need to tap all of them. This is not a time spiral. Let's get this Brainstorm then. Okay, let me see what I have on my sideboard that I can possibly wanted. Maybe High Tide is not the card that I need. I get to cast one of this for free. Maybe that my desire was not enough Storm. Because if I cast another High Tide, then it makes more mana. Yeah. So to cast High Tide, cast this one for free. Untap 2 of them. All right. I'm gonna pick one of them up. Untap these 2. Then I can cycle this. All right. There's nothing that draw cards on my sideboard, right? Except for the Jace. All right. So let's cast. Oh, this is free. It's a Ponder. Guess we'll try to Ponder. We'll find a time spiral. Cool. All right. So no. So now I'll play the land too, and I'll tap everything because I want to get the untap. All right. I'm gonna cantrip here. I think I'm gonna start with a Brainstorm. All right. I think I can put those 2 back, and I'm gonna Merchant Scroll. So I can either get something that draws a lot of cards, like Blues and Zenith, or a High Tide, right? I think I'm just going to get High Tide. Right, so I'm going to cast High Tide again. Okay, and I should have it from here. Just got it. Now it's a matter of just not wasting too much time. Oh, I found the Blues and Zenith too. Okay. I'll keep the Cloud of Faeries because now I'm going to try to make a very large amount of mana. So that's what, 27? I can still Turnabout. All right, let me see if I can find another High Tide. Can't play any of those things really. So any order, 4. Target myself, land, untap. So I get to draw 38 cards. And so each of them is, let me see. So they're tapping for 4 mana. All right, just so I don't mess this up, I'm just gonna, so X equals 27. All right, so High Tide, target myself, land, untap. I can just cast the Fae now, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Oh, like the other way would be to try to Blues and Zenith them, but they're playing a deck with a lot of cards, so it's gonna take a lot longer. I think it's just easier for me to just Jace and actually yield to all. Yeah, I don't have any more cards in the deck. Let me see. So then I guess granted, I will get Jace. I'm gonna guess Jace, and then I'm gonna target myself. All right. So Death in Texas, right? Does this? So artifacts and creatures. Okay. It doesn't deal with things like Deafening Silence, but it does stop like Orcish Bowmasters, right? So I think I'm gonna cut the Flusterstorm and maybe one of the Preordains, and I'll bring the 2 dress downs. And I guess I cut the other Preordain too. Yeah, I think it should be okay. All right, I think this end is fine. Probably might get Thoughtseize here. I don't know, either vibe. All right, I'm gonna hold on to Brainstorm in case they do have a Thoughtseize, I guess, but I'm just gonna cycle this right now. Then do they have a thing that stops me from cycling? Might be a Bowmasters, but I'm not casting anything that draw cards. Flute, okay, that's a good one. A High Tide. All right. I just realized now I have 8 cards in hand. Oh no, I'm just gonna get a High Tide and I'll pass. For some reason I thought I was gonna have 8 cards in hand. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Ponder. Yeah. Kind of want the extra land. I'll play a fetch and I'll pass. Ophelia. That card, oh, that's a problem. Excuse me. All right, let me see. Do I have anything in the sideboard that deals with that? I don't, because so the only way I have to deal with that card is the thing they're hiding on the ceiling, right? Well, Force of Negation, but you can't do this at instant speed. It's not a Cunning Wish. Let me see. Found a Force of Will. So what am I gonna do? So Fae and Mind's Desire, I guess. I have to force that, right? Turnabout or Cloud of Faeries. I guess Cloud of Faeries. Maybe Mind's Desire was a card that should name there. It's a name High Tide. Yeah, that is definitely the correct thing to name. So if I, oh, hold on a second. Cost 3 more. So if I, no, Turnabout only does something if I have another mana, right? All right. So let's, yeah, so I was thinking, I think maybe I should have pitched Mind's Desire to Force of Will and keep the Fairy. Yeah, I should have probably done that. Because then next turn is like High Tide. Because High Tide costs 4 mana, right? So High Tide, cast Fairy on tap 2, cast Turnabout on tap the team, and then cast Time Spiral. All right. I don't think I know the top of my deck now, right? Okay, that was, yeah, it's a small punt, I guess. Fae, that was the other card. I could get Force of Negation or Preordain, because this thing doesn't get exiled, right? Get a Preordain to make sure I hit another land. Yeah. All right. Top. Okay. It just goes in an adventure, right? But then I can cast it and then redraw it or reuse it. But the point is, I could have done all this before when the turn that I discarded, when I pitch Cloud of Faeries instead of Mind's Desire. All right. So I'm gonna cast High Tide. Then I'm gonna target myself, land, untap. I guess this one. Now, do I feel like they're being holding up? I can actually cast the Fairy too. Yeah, just cast the Fae. All right, just try the Mind's Desire. If they tap their mana, then there's a Force of Will. Oh, another Mind's Desire. Okay, so it might just be one of those games. I just cast this and tap these two. I can take 3. I can take the damage from this, right? If they Bowmasters me. Also, they don't have Bowmasters. Cast this for tap these two. We can cast Mind's Desire for free. All right, I think with Snap, I should be pretty insulated against Bowmasters now, right? I'll cast this. I can also do this and just blink those two. Yeah. All right, this. What are they gonna try to do? Okay, and they don't have any more interactions, right? Those it. So Fae comes back to my hand, untap these two. Cool. High Tide for free. So 21 cards in my deck. Land, untap. Can snap this thing for free. So 21 cards. Oh, Storm is 21. Grant, yes. Get Jace. Cast Jace. Okay, and then I can cast Mind's Desire. And that should be for the rest of my deck. Oh, yo. I mean, Eel, not Yell. Eel to all. And then just Jace. All right, cool. So currently 2-1. Yeah, when I had like a lot of interaction there, like with the Solitudes there, it's a heads up play. Like, no, most High Tide decks now do run Cloud of Faeries or Spellseeker. Also, I think in that case, well, I guess the Fae was never going to get killed, right? Because you can always just pay 2 mana in return to my hand, I guess. But it would make things a little complicated. But I think the scariest card that they had there was the definitely Silence. If I didn't find the Force of Will in the second Brainstorm, then that game would have been very, very different. All right, so let's see how round 5 goes. All right, so round 4, and well, we've got Force of Will, High Tide, Time Spiral, Turnabout. I think I have to keep this one. If everything goes all right, by turn 3, I can try to go off. So if I don't have to use Force of Will on turn 1, basically just want to draw another land or like another cantrip. But for now, I think Preordain would be the card that I'm gonna save for Force of Will. So Chalice of the Void in turn 1. All right, then I gotta do something, right? All right, let's just do this. All right, Fond of Ponder. There's another land. I think I just kind of want to draw lands here, actually. I can do like this. I feel like probably going to get hit with a Thought Nasir here on turn 2, but okay. Or maybe not. All right, so I think I'm just going to cut the Flusterstorm into Preordains, and I will bring the Force of Negation, the Hurkyl's Recall. And I kind of want Spectral Restitching too. I'm just going to cut the Blue Sun Zenith. I actually don't really like Blue Sun Zenith. It's like one of my least favorite ways to try to go off with a High Tide. Like when Candelabra was in this list, then maybe, because you could still, I'm just gonna put this long reveal. When Candelabra was in this High Tide list, then yeah, you could make a lot of mana, like a High Tide plus, I don't know, Turnabout. Like the decks used to be chock full of like cards that untap, and it was a little different. It was a different time, right, in Legacy. Man, I kind of like all these cards actually. So I think I'm gonna put High Tide last, Merchant Scroll, and pass. It kind of depends what they're doing now, right? On turn 2. If they don't play anything, okay, that card is okay. Now here's a question: if they don't do anything, I think I just pass. There's another High Tide on top of my deck. So if they play a Thought Knot Seer, take High Tide, then I can still do the same thing next turn. Maybe I should have played a fetch land actually, because yeah, Thought Knot Seer. All right. So I can just see if I play High Tide. I think there's a way for me to go up in mana here, right? So High Tide, 2 mana, Merchant Scroll, grab Snap, then Snap and taps 2. Yeah, all right, so this Snap, right? Cast this thing, tap this 2, pick this up, tap this 2, tap 2, cast Fairies. Okay, wow. And then I was gonna cast Time Spiral and then cross my fingers. All right, that's a scary matchup, but fortunately the opponent just had 2 pieces of interaction, and I had 2 Force of Wills, and I had also was a little bit on the lucky side when I had the second High Tide on top of the deck. All right, so this was round 4. Let's see if we can finish with a 4-1. That would be pretty sweet with a deck like High Tide. That's not the most competitive deck currently in Legacy. All right, so we're back here for the last round of the league, the 5th final round. And I think I can keep this one. As you control 3 or more islands. That could be a problem, actually. But I think it's fine. Play against blue-black tempo again. It's a Cloud of Faeries. Yeah, that Mystic Sanctuary. Now I'm looking at it. If I draw another island, then okay, I kind of basically draw another island. I don't think there's a reason for me to run into a Daze here. I think it's better for him to just cycle the Lórien Revealed. So opponent has 6 cards in hand. Let's get an island. We'll cycle this. Get another island. Okay, opponent's really... Oh, maybe they... You know what? No, they cast Ponder. I didn't cast anything. So maybe they were holding on to like a Brainstorm for suspecting that I have Bowmasters in my deck. So, which is a fair assessment in the current Legacy meta. All right, so they're going to cast Brainstorm. Cool thing about Faerie, that actually lets me play around Days next turn if I want to. Oh, it's Doomsday. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try to go for it, I guess. I want to do this. I'm going to try to cast High Tide first. Okay, that was weird. Magic Online just froze for a second. Let's see how I wanted to do this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cast Fairies. Okay, untap these 2. Because I only have 1 Flusterstorm in the deck. So the chances of me finding Flusterstorm are like very, very small. Another High Tide doesn't really do anything. And if I play Mystic Sanctuary to grab Merchant Scroll to get High Flusterstorm, I don't think that's gonna work. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna try to play around Days then. And I have 1 Force of Will for their Force of Will. You know what? I could also try to find a Mind's Desire. Well, I need a blue card for Blue Sun Zenith. I think I'm going to keep the Blue Sun Zenith then. Or maybe just keep the Ponder. So Snap, you know what? Snap gives me more options, right? Because now I can try to snap this and tap this too. Actually doesn't. All right. Guess this is the plan. Sorry. I kind of messed this up. Kind of got lost in the... I think in that case, I should have probably just keep the Blue Sun Zenith, because if their plan was to Doomsday and pass, then maybe the Blue Sun Zenith can target them and Street Wraith. Okay, that maybe was not the best option here. Yep, I'll pay for it. So one of the cards in hand is a Doomsday, so they can't possibly have double Force of Will. All right, so I'm gonna tap this, 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 and this. Yeah, I guess I'll start with the Brainstorm. Don't need the extra lands. It's not on top of the deck anymore. I can just shuffle. Tap this 2. Pick this guy up. And tap this 2. I think I'm just gonna Time Spiral again and hold up Flusterstorm plus Force of Will. Tap, untap, Untap, untap. It was not a very good one. It was a Fae. Alright, so I don't think any of those two cards do anything, right? I can all another time spiral. I guess I can do that. All right, I thought I wheeled them into more Force of Wills. I had to held my breath there for a second. So what's the play here? I guess I'll ponder Brainstorm first. It is scary to play like against a blue deck because it's not guaranteed after you start going off. So I don't think I need this or this one. I played another High Tide. I kind of just like need to find a Mind's Desire really, right? I think. Yeah, let's try to do that. Oh, I forgot to tap the other land. Okay. There's a Blues and Zenith. Maybe that does it. So I definitely need the land. I'll keep the Force. No, I think I'm going to try to... I can always just Merchant Scroll for that, I think. All right. It's being very hard to find a Mind's Desire in this deck. All right, so I'm going to get Blues and Zenith this time. I'm going to try to bounce this thing. Pick up those two. That's 37 mana. Tap these two. How many Turnabouts have I used already? One, I don't know why I'm tapping mana. I have like 35 mana sitting on my pool there. Alright, so it's 53 now. So land, untap. Alright, so if I do for 69, I think I can just make them draw their deck and still hold up Force Will and Flusterstorm. Well, hold on a second. I can still lose to a Daze or something, right? No, they have 50. I have 16, so I can tap. Yeah. So just do for 51. Alright. That was interesting. So I think I'm gonna cut the Preordains again. I'm gonna bring some Flusterstorms. And what do I want to cut against Doomsday? Yeah, I kind of want to have Dress Down too, but I think they're playing the turbo version, so I can go with one Snap, one Cloud of Faeries, and have two Dress Downs maybe. I really hate cutting those things because that's how I speed up my clock. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do like this. But I do like Dress Down. Dress Down is pretty cool because if they have some kind of like pivot into a creature plan, then I'm not just like cold to a Bowmasters. So opponent went to 5. Ugh. Does it mean they're gonna turn on Dark Ritual Doomsday? Please don't. It's just a thought seize. Whew. All right. I thought I was just gonna lose on turn 1 because my hand is it's pretty good against turn 2. Not very good against turn 1. So they took High Tide. All right, makes sense. I wonder if they're just gonna go like full on creatures post board because. All right, so I'm gonna hold on to this Flusterstorm and then they just cast Bowmasters and I'm sad, but it's whatever. I still have Mind's Desire in the deck, right? That was the whole point of Mind's Desire. I think that's what I said in the beginning of the video. All right, so I'm just gonna ponder now, see if I can fix my hand. I think Dress Down is the card that I'm least interested in right now. So if instead of Time Spiral, a lot of these times if there were Mind's Desire, I feel like my hand would be so much better. It's gonna Duress. Yeah, that is annoying, but it is what it is. They took my Merchant Scroll, Ponder. All right. I think eventually I'm just going to get to 7 mana. I'm just going to cast Turnabout and hard cast Time Spiral, like Pay the Honest, 6 islands. Okay. Still going to play the island because I want to save the fetch land for Mystic Sanctuary so I can rebuy my High Tide. Now, the thing is that Dress Down doesn't do anything here unless I just slam a Bowmasters here and then I'm going to feel like a genius. It's probably like a Sewers. Yeah, which I could do that too, right? I can just preemptively cast Dress Down, but I don't think they're on that plan. I think if you have a personal tutor, the plan is more for you to cast Doomsday faster and not trying to take too long. Maybe a Tameo, because Tameo is a very good card. All right, so I'm just gonna get Sanctuary. I'm gonna try to rebuy my High Tide. I'll say yes. So let's see. High Tide. Yeah, I'm just gonna cast this right now. So draws the thing I don't. If I draw another land here, then it's just perfect. It's not another land, but it's fine, I guess. All right. Let's try to cast this. Oh, it doesn't do anything. I'm so dumb. What the hell am I doing? All right, I deserve to lose this one after this. Oh my gosh. I just had the game locked up probably. And now I don't. I hope they just daze it. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. Oh, okay. Well, I feel a little less bad. I wasn't going to be able to beat their Flusterstorm with my Flusterstorms, I think. Or if I could, it was going to be a nightmare on Magic Online for me to click on about 9 copies. But I see I should have cast the Cloud of Faeries. That was definitely a mistake. All right, opponent's going to make a Doomsday pile. Hopefully they don't have a Brainstorm in hand or a Cycler. They do have 2 cards in hand though, so if they... Yeah, either a Cycler or a Brainstorm does it here. They know about the 2 Flusterstorms in my hand, so... Yeah, all right, so let me just see what version they're playing, then maybe I can make an educated guess, or not educated guess, but like changes for game 3. All right, so I don't have any creatures. Consider's in the graveyard. Cavern of Souls in the... I mean, not in graveyard, I'm sorry, in exile. There's a Flusterstorm here. I think it's the same one, right? So only one Flusterstorm. Oh, they have a Cycler in hand. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense now. So I think... What do I want to do? I think it's still the same thing. Yeah, I think I'm just going to run it back like this. Just try not to punt as hard. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this one. And since I have the Lórien revealed, I don't think I need to play the Ponder on turn 1. I'm just going to hold up Flusterstorm. Double High Tide could possibly come up if I draw a Fairy, because then the 2 lands make 6 mana. So if they just can't trip, I think I'm just going to cycle Lórien revealed. If they don't, then I can just Flusterstorm that counter the first discard spell. Yeah, I'm gonna try to Flusterstorm that. So they probably have a Daze in hand. They could Daze and Force and then a double Cycler. Wow, that was a turn 1 kill. A Daze, Force. You can. Then Doomsday will resolve. That's like Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual Doomsday. I think it's kind of risky not to go get a land first. So I'm just gonna play the island and we're gonna Ponder. Maybe I'll find a Force of Will here. I found a Force. There's a Force, land, Ponder. All right. I think Lórien Revealed can be my Force of Will fodder here. Again, the thing that's awkward with High Tide when you're playing against other blue decks is that I'm actually giving them extra mana too. So let's say if they have double Flusterstorm, they only have to hold up 1 land. You can also just High Tide and then... Fair Wishes. I don't think I want that. I don't want the land though. I could High Tide next turn and just cast Lórien Revealed. Maybe they'll draw counter magic from their hand. Personal Tutor. Okay, so they have 4 cards in hand. So I think I have to do something here, right? I think I do like this. Flusterstorm. Okay. So if I cast High Tide in response, no, then I just pay for them, but it doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, because then it's just if I cast High Tide. If I had a Turnabout, then it would do something, but not in this situation. Yeah, I think the play here is just let this all resolve and then cast a Ponder. I think I just saw 1 Flusterstorm in that game 2 in the exile pile. So also we only have 9 minutes each. So even if I go off next turn, I have to hurry up a little bit. So I can't pay for that, or I shouldn't pay for that. All right, I guess I just cast a Ponder now. Flusterstorm would be probably one of the best draws here. I think any order. That's not great. This is not good. The other option, I could have kept the land Mystic Sanctuary, put something on top, but then, well, I guess Flusterstorm would have worked, right? Maybe. Yeah, because then I pass and I have Flusterstorm up. Yeah, sorry, I think the clock being at 9 minutes maybe had me a little anxious there. I like how Magic Online now, it doesn't show what you're picking from your graveyard, which I think is the correct thing to do. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how it works in paper too. Let's see. So that Flusterstorm here. So even if they have a Cycler, Consider is here. So I don't think they have the Deep Analysis combo. And they already exiled the Thassa's Oracle. So I think their only line of play is to cast Jace, right? So yeah, but I think it was a small mistake. I think I should have just probably kept the fetch from that Ponder. So I could fetch Mystic Sanctuary. And then I had the option to either get another High Tide if I felt like that was the right thing, or Flusterstorm. I think Flusterstorm was the right one because then I'll have 5 lands in play, which allows me to cast High Tide, tap 4 lands for 8 mana, which then I can still cast Time Spiral and have the extra blue mana for for Time Spiral. Hopefully that did not matter. So I'm just going to get an island here. All right. And they actually only have a total of 6 cards. So if Time Spiral resolves, I think I win. Unless the last card in their hand is a Flusterstorm, then I can't pay for 3 copies. They can sack the Petal if they don't want to die, I guess. Because then they would have 7 cards. That's what they figured. This game is getting very intricate. All right. So they kept the 7 cards. So I think I'm going to Merchant Scroll here. So if I get Turnabout, what about another High Tide? Then I can do everything I want to do, I think. All right, so we're going to go to the next phase. So they don't have extra mana. Yeah, because then I can just Blues and Zenith them for 2. All right, so we're just going to cast High Tide. Let me count how many forces they have. So Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Negation, Force of Will. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Force of Wills. What about Force of Negation? 1, 2, only 2. So they could possibly have 2 Force of Negations. And they have enough blue cards for sure. Huh. So if I get another Turnabout, yeah. All right, so I'm going to try to Turnabout. I'm trying to make sure that I don't lose this game. All right, so Flusterstorm. Okay, 2 Flusterstorms. All right, so now I should be up to just, Blues and Zenith down. And so, granted, yes, we get Blues and Zenith. And we target them for 2. All right, maybe I made the last game there a little more complicated than I meant to do. But again, I feel like at that point it's one of those situations that it's better to play safe than to try to do something hasty, especially it's already been it was a long match anyways. So 4-1 with this list. So looking at the matchups, the blue-black, anything blue-black, Bowmasters, Thoughtseize, Counter Magic, it's going to be hard to beat with this deck. I think since people been playing Hint to 2 Rocks and Thoughtseize and decks with Underground Seeds, it's probably the hardest type of deck to play if you're playing combo. Disruption plus Counter Magic plus Wasteland sometimes, depending on the combo deck, not High Tide specifically. And those decks are usually very good at applying pressure right now. We've seen cards like Death Shadows and Grimrock Anglers over the years. So that's not a matchup that I expect to win, at least not with this configuration. I don't even know if there's a good configuration for High Tide that can beat a blue-black deck, right? Especially the ones that are more aggressive. Maybe if they start with another Goyf and cast like a Tameo, maybe you have a chance. But I think that's it's just very, very hard to beat, which is partially one of the reasons I think High Tide is not being played almost at all in the current legacy. Bowmasters is a very popular card in the format right now. Blue-black decks are doing really well if you look at the results and the challenges. Not saying that High Tide otherwise would be tier 1, but I think if we see more blue-red style temple decks, then yeah, High Tide could definitely hang in there. I think it's a lot easier to beat Hydroblasts and Delvers than it is to beat Discard and Counter Magic and creatures. Just my opinion. I think the one matchup against Eldrazi, I think I might have got, again, on the better side of variance. I think it's a very hard matchup. Chalice of the Void obviously is very good against when your deck is named after a card that costs 1 mana. You're trying to resolve High Tide and they have a Chalice of the Void. No, it makes things a lot more complicated. They also have cards like Thoughtseize, and sometimes they will have things like Disruptor Flute, like we saw in the Death and Taxes matchup, the Death and Taxes game. So I think it was just a little more kind of, if I could pick how the game would go, that was kind of like how I hope to go in the, so kind of maybe got a little bit lucky on the variance side of things there. So as far as this list, like I mentioned in the intro, I asked Jared for a list that he was playing. He's been playing some High Tide too. Jared loves playing quote unquote outdated legacy decks, and so I've been kind of bouncing ideas off of him for High Tide, and I tried some of the old lists that I had on my accounts. They didn't seem very good, and so hit him up, and he basically gave me this list minus a I think his list only had 2 snaps, and he had a copy of Force of Negation in the main deck. I really like the Cloud of Faeries snap interaction. It's like, I think it's one of the ways you can bridge from going from being a turn 4 deck to maybe like a turn 3 deck. Also, you can, like, sometimes mana is a bottleneck for this deck, so that's kind of like I like the Turnabout in this deck too. Turnabout is one of those relics from the past, from Time Spiral high tide decks that sometimes you see being played, sometimes it's a Cunning Wish sideboard card. But it's a card that I like, especially when you have Mind's Desire in the deck too. If the game goes long, Turnabout's just a really good way for you to go up in Storm. If you get to 6 mana, cantrip, Turnabout, untap all your lands, cast Mind's Desire. I don't know, might not win the game, but like a Mind's Desire with a Storm count 5 might just do it, especially when you start chaining Mind's Desire or chain Mind's Desire into a Time Spiral or something like that. So I kind of like Turnabout, and I think 2 might be the correct number. It's really a card that sometimes you just want to have in your hand, and if you don't have in your hand, sometimes you just want a Merchant Scroll for it, but having access to Turnabout with Merchant Scroll seems like a cool idea. And then Faya Wishes, I played with this card before in High Tide, and I think the first time I played, I wasn't really impressed with it. It seemed all right. It definitely seems better than having Cunning Wish most of the time. Cunning Wish was a card that you could do silly things like Cunning Wish for Search for Extraction, like, at instant speed, or Cunning Wish for a Force of Negation at instant speed. Can't do that with a Faya Wishes, but just having a card that's like a win con, just one card in your deck, that if something goes wrong, you can just shuffle back into your deck, or you can cast it and bounce it back to your hand, or you can just pay 2 mana and put it back in your hand and then find another card. I don't know. It seems kind of cool. I actually liked it. But yeah, just to wrap up, I think the list is fine. If I was gonna make any changes, I think the 4 Faerie Macabres, excuse me, I think the 4 Faerie Macabres were maybe not great. I think I talked to Jared before. I did ask him about the Faerie Macabres, and he said it's mostly because of Oops. I think I would probably change these. If Oops is really the problem, then just maybe just run 4 Leyline of the Void. I don't think that's correct either. I think I'm more of a fan of having some number of maybe Search for Extractions and Gravedigger's Cage. Cage doubles up as a good card against decks that are running Green Sun Zenith and stuff like that. Also, like, it could possibly be good against Storm because it stops the guy's Will's lines of play, or the Echo Veons. So I think if I was gonna replay this deck, maybe even just do an even split, 2 Cages and 2 Search for Extractions. But other than that, I think the list felt very good. I enjoyed playing this league, and again, as always, if you like Legacy, if you like Pre-Modern, and you haven't hit the follow button yet, I would like for you to subscribe. Leave your comments below. I love reading the comments you guys leave on the videos that I post. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.